Smart people are usually the ones who notice what the government is doing. They have all the words for every condition that is happening in the world, all the big isms. They know how to define it, they know how to label it. You know, there's the colleagues who can tell you exactly why this company is failing, the family member who has the breakdown analysis of every problem that is happening in this family, and they don't have a solution for none of them, but they can tell you everything that's wrong, honey. And they're usually not stupid. They are usually the sharpest people in the room, because when they speak, you're like, actually, yeah. So let me break it down to you. And you know I love my scientists. I'm gonna listen every moment I can get. I'm going to shout out a scientist. So in this case, there's a scientist called Robert Dunbar. He's an anthropologist at Oxford, and he studied how human beings bond. And what he found was very surprising. He found that the number one way that human beings bond is not through sharing good news, but it is through sharing complaints, having shared enemies, having shared frustrations, having shared observations about what is wrong in the world. Because what complaining does is that low-key, it says, I see what you see. I'm on your side. We understand each other. And the thing about being smart is that you notice more. And the more you notice, the more you have, the more things you have to complain about. And the more you complain, the more the people are doing this. They're nodding. And the more people are nodding, the more it feels like you're adding something valuable into their life. And you're not, because you are being socially rewarded for a behavior that is destroying you. And because people are nodding in real time, that reward, that dopamine hit is very immediate, but the destruction that is happening to you as the complainer is very slow, which makes this one of the most intriguing psychological traps that exists in human psychology. Now, when you start thinking about neuroscience, now this is where it gets real, because if you know that saying, neurons that fire together wire together, because guys, the brain is not a fixed thing. The brain every day is busy, changing, morphing based on what it is that you consume, based on what it is that you do, based on what it is that you say, based on what it is that you reinforce, based on what it is that you practice. So every single time you complain, you fire a specific set of neurons. You are training your brain to scan for problems, to find out what is wrong, to find out what is the threat. And this principle in neuroscience is called Hebb's law. Hebb's law says neurons that fire together wire together, which means that the more you practice something, the more you become efficient in doing that thing. And that sounds great until you realize that it goes for both ways, the good stuff and the bad stuff. The brain that practices complaining gets structurally better at finding things to complain about. And this is not a mood. I'm not talking about a mood. It's a physical change that is literally happening in your brain. You are literally rewiring yourself to see the world as worse as it actually is. And then that is not all. Now when you include hormones, cortisol enters the picture. And I've mentioned the scientist before in my previous videos, Robert Sapolsky, who's working there at Stanford, who spent decades studying what hormones do to the brain. He found that prolonged cortisol exposure, what does it do? That chronic stress, what does it do? The chronic negativity, what does it do? It damages your hippocampus. What is the hippocampus? Let me tell you. The hippocampus is that part of your brain responsible for memory. The hippocampus is the part of your brain that's responsible for learning something new. The hippocampus is part of the brain that is responsible for you making sense of new information. So if you are chronically complaining, you can't be happy if you're chronically complaining. So not only are you unhappy, physically, cognitively, brainically, you are impairing yourself over time. The sharpness that they think that they have, that makes them great complainers, is the exact thing that complaining is destroying. And just when you think it can't get any worse, complaining is contagious. That's why if I hear a whiff of somebody having a negative mindset, I cannot have them next to me. That ish is contagious as AF. And then for a lot of people, it is a normal way of life, but they do not understand the damage that it causes. And also, why would you want to live a life where you just look outside every day and you just see all the wrong? Oh my God. There's this concept called emotional contagion, and it was researched by a psychologist named Elaine Hatfield. So what this means is that humans are wired to mirror the emotional states of the people that are around them, right? So if you watch somebody smile, it makes you smile. If you watch somebody in pain, you kind of feel that version of their pain. And when you listen to somebody complain, when you really listen to somebody complain, when you absorb it, when you engage in it, your brain activates the same stress response as if you were complaining yourself. Which means it's like a smoker, guys. You know when a person is smoking and you catch secondhand smoke, and secondhand smoke is not healthy? If you are around a chronic complainer, it is not just damaging themselves, they also deliver stress to everybody that is around them. Whether it is in a conversation, whether it is a dinner, whether it's your colleague, whether it's your friend. Think of a complainer delivering cortisol every time they open their mouth. They're giving you secondhand cortisol every single time they open their mouth. And if you are a complainer yourself, just notice the stress that you are in. You are giving other people who are around you, the people you love, you're giving them cortisol every single time you open your mouth and talk about that thing that you're complaining about. And don't be shocked, because cortisol doesn't feel good. Don't be shocked when people start to now not want you around a lot, are trying to avoid you. They try to avoid your phone calls. And that is not a coincidence. That is biology in motion, baby. So the thing about complaining that is a trap is that complaining a lot of the time feels like awareness. It feels like, oh yeah, I'm smart enough to see what is going wrong. I have standards. I notice things that other people miss. And in the short term, yes, that is the truth. People will nod with you. People will agree with you. People will think that you are perceptive and you are smart, But here's the thing that you are not noticing. Complaining is like the lowest hanging fruit when it comes to being socially accepted. Complaining is the lowest, it's the cheapest status symbol, because you're not actually doing anything. You're not doing much. There's no action usually associated to a lot of complaining. There's no risk that is associated with a lot of complaining. You're not brave for being an eloquent complainer. Anybody can point at the thing that is broken. It doesn't really take much to point at that thing that is broken. Like, we can all see it. It's not really that impressive, because the thing that takes actual intelligence, the thing that takes actual courage, is building something that is a solution in the direction of the thing that you want. The complainer and the builder, they both see the same thing. They both can see exactly what is wrong. The difference is what they do with that information. One uses it as content to create a think piece and to, blabber away to the closest listener. And the other uses it as a blueprint to change the world that is around them and to actually create a world that they want to see. And the world rewards both of them very differently. If you thought that it can't get any deeper, I'm about to show you something. So I want us to look at this at a greater scale, at a population type of level. There's this guy, Edwin Bernays, who invented public relations. He's actually called the godfather of public relations. He's somebody who understood this in a way that a lot of people, even to this day, don't understand. If you read his work, you'll understand that a population that is always complaining is a population that has identified itself with frustration. And frustration is an activated emotion. And it's an emotion that is looking for a target. When somebody is frustrated, they need a release most of the time. All you have to do is to give the frustrated person a target. All you have to do, if you are, in charge of a population or can speak to a population, identify the complaint, make it louder and louder and louder, amplify it, aim it, and then take a step back. A population that complains together can be aimed together. Your complaints are not private, especially with social media. Your complaints are not private, honey. They are raw material. And whoever understands them can use them. They can point them towards products. They can point them towards certain political initiatives. They can point them towards specific escapisms. They can point them towards, the world is their oyster. All you gotta do is just show them, tell them how frustrated you are. And not only that, be frustrated and don't do anything about it. So what do you actually do? Like, do you just like pretend that the world is all rosy? That is not what I'm saying. Oh my God. I'm not saying you should be like toxically positive. I'm not saying that you should have fake gratitude. I'm not saying that you should smile through the pain. I'm not saying none of that. So in psychology, there's a concept called locus of control. And it was researched by Julian Rotter, I think in the 1950s. And it says that people who have an internal locus of control, when they notice something that they're not impressed by, they ask themselves, what can I do about it? But people with an external locus of control, when they notice something that they're not impressed by or they want to change, they ask themselves, who is responsible for this? Both groups can see the same problem, but only one group actually moves into action. And the shift is not about seeing less. It's about doing something different with what you see. So the first thing that you can do is, when you see that, okay, this thing is bothering me, give yourself a complaint window. 2 minutes, vent it out. Feel the anger, feel the whatever, right? Give yourself a window. You can't be that person talking about the same thing for 2 years. Give yourself a window. If 2 minutes is too little, let's give it 5 minutes, right? Vent it out. Let it out, okay? Be as negative as you can be and then close it. This is not suppression. This is just, you get me? The emotion got acknowledged, but it doesn't run your day. And then after you're done complaining, follow that complaint with one question. What is the smallest thing I can do about it today? And that small thing can't be more complaining, no. You've already done that. What is the smallest thing I can do about this today? You're not trying to fix the whole thing. You're not trying to solve the whole thing, okay? One small thing. Is it an email that you can send? Is it what can you do? What is an active, actual step, small step that is within your locus of control that you can do to address this thing that clearly you're very concerned about? That single habit right there rewires your neural pathway from always being in problem detection mode to now being in a solution orientated mode. And over time, if you do that, yes, you're gonna find things that bother you and are worth complaining about, but over time you're gonna start to see opportunity. How do you think people see opportunity? And then the third thing that you can do is notice who it is that you're complaining to. If the person who you're complaining to cannot help you with whatever it is that you're complaining about, you're not processing. You just need an audience. And remember what I said about what you are dishing out to people that you love. If you're always complaining, just be careful of doing that too much. And not only are you doing that, you are rewiring your brain, and whatever it is that you're practicing becomes a little bit more permanent every single day. So at the end of the day, smart people complain the most because they see the most, they notice the most, and that is real. The most dangerous version of this trap is the complaining that feels like awareness, that feels like standards, that feels like, oh, I'm just telling the truth about how things actually are. The trap is not in what you are seeing. The trap is you stopping there, seeing, and boom, all you're doing is seeing. That is the trap. Because when you're stuck in that trap, remember, you're part of a population and they're very smart people who are observing populations. And if you're stuck in that trap of seeing and not doing anything about what it is that you're seeing, your complaints become somebody else's raw material and your awareness becomes a very, very valuable asset for them. So you need to ask yourself, this sense of awareness that I'm feeling, who is it working for? Is it actually helping to improve my life? Or is it working for somebody who needs you to be exactly where you are right now? You know, on my TikTok, I come across a lot of people who complain about consumerism, complain about so many isms. And when you go into the heart of it, most of these isms are fueled by frustration that is stuck in a trap that has no outlet, that is stuck in a trap where the only outlet of that frustration is to consume, because people are just not aware of some of these things. So yeah, there's a lot of effed up things in the world, honey. but at least be somebody who sees the effed up thing and finds opportunity to change the world that is around them. Use your creativity to change the world that is around you. Listen to Michael Jackson. Be the man in the mirror. The fact that you are aware, it means that you know what should change. But what are you doing about it?